Hello, everyone. It's William here today from Allegory Gallery, and I'm in my home office today. It's been a day. How have you all been? I'll give some time for people to filter in. I'm sorry I'm late today. Got caught up chatting at the store, and then we lost power, so I've been waiting for all of our modems and routers and all that stuff to reset, and trying to get things up and running again here. Oops. Still not quite working. But trying to get everything together. So if you're tuning in, please say hi. Let me know that you are tuning in and where you're tuning in from. And we're just going to have a chit chat today a little bit. Sorry, I'm just pulling something up and getting my computer set up. Hello, Suzanne. Thanks for tuning in. So Andrew has set off for Baltimore, and I believe he's there already. So Andrew is taking a class that he got a scholarship for at the Baltimore Jewelry School. I think that's what it's called. Jewelry Center, Jewelry School. So he's heading off that way. He left earlier this afternoon. I believe he's there. I haven't heard from him yet, but I did track his phone and to make sure he actually arrived. He has a habit of not telling me when he gets places sometimes. So it's good that I can do that. We made sure tracking on his phone after the whole Pittsburgh incident, we made sure that tracking on his phone worked. So I now know where he is. But he has made it, and I'm waiting to hear how it goes, but I know he's getting set up and visiting some places, I'm sure. Making sure he can check into his place, and just waiting to hear if everything goes well there. So yeah, it's been a day. It's a weird day. It's kind of a day, like I started doing some things today, and then we had some customers in, which was good to see people. Still not very much in sales, but visitors today, which is good. It has been raining off and on most of this afternoon. It was dry this morning, but started raining. So it's been one of those days that I couldn't get into any focused work. I need to do the Saturday morning tutorial for y'all. It's going to be another kind of component type tutorial. And I don't have it here because I gave it back to Jen. I took photos and gave it right back to her because she's preparing for some shows that she's working on. So I can't show it to you, but I will have that edited tonight and uploaded for YouTube for tomorrow morning, as long as all goes well. Technology is a little bit funny today, so we're hoping for the best. But I couldn't start that earlier. I had it on my to-do list to start earlier today, but it's very hard to edit the video while you have people coming in. So didn't get that done. I had some other projects that I wanted to work on. Couldn't focus on them. So today I did some researching. So let me just say hi to everybody who's here. Hello, Lorraine. Thanks for joining in. Hello, Marianne. Hello, Susie. Hello, Donna. Good to see you all. Susie says, it's been a week. It has been a week. I feel that too. I feel that deep inside me. I probably look like I feel that. I did schedule a hair appointment though, but I can't get in until next Thursday. I was hoping for Monday. That doesn't work. My stylist is not in Monday. The one day that I picked for myself to kind of be out of the store, my hairstylist isn't in. So next Thursday, I'll be getting a haircut in the morning. But yeah, I feel that. I look like that. I feel like I look like that. I feel it inside me. It's been a week. Hello, Norma. Thanks for joining us today. Barbara's with us. Hello, Barbara. Hello, Cheryl. Says melting in Wisconsin, safe travels to Andrew. Yeah, it's hot here. It was only in the 70s here, but I don't know what the real feel is, but the humidity has made it feel disgusting. So like right now it's supposed to be 72 out there. You would not know it. It feels like it's like 90. It rained and rained and rained, and I hoped it would cool it down and take away the humidity, but it only increased the humidity. So I feel ya. It's not great. It's not great. Susan is with us. Hello, Susan. Thanks for joining in. Susie said the Smudgekins is getting a haircut on Monday. Nice. I wanted to get a haircut Monday. That was the plan, but it's not working out. Suzanne got a tattoo, but that's the best part of the week. That's awesome. Tattoos. I've always kind of wanted one, but I've never figured out what that one would be. Everyone's like, I had a lot of people through my, college days. They're like, you are so pale. All the tattoo colors would show up so nice on you. Like that was during the time when they were doing those like watercolor ones, I think at one point. That was a little later, but people were still like, you should do those because those would look great because your skin is so light. The colors would really stand out. And it got me to thinking, I'm like, maybe I should. And Andrew has some, but I have never gotten one. I've always wanted piercings and tattoos, never did any of that. But I guess it's just, I have a hard time deciding what to do. And I think that's probably one of those things that you have for the first time. And then once you get a tattoo, then you just do more, right? I shouldn't think about it so much maybe, but anyway, I'm glad you got one. I know you like them. What did you get a tattoo of? What is your tattoo of? If you can say, right? Norma says, I'm just here briefly. We'll have to leave in about 20 minutes for the weekly Outlander watch party. Nice. That's right. That's Friday, right? We have not started this season. So I don't even know if we started last season of Outlander. I can't remember, but I hope you have fun. Yeah, I don't know how long we're going to be here today. I'm just going to chat a little bit. I really didn't know what Andrew was talking about, possibly making some artwork for me to show you, but I don't think he did. We kind of momentarily crossed paths this morning before he left and I left for work, but it was just very hectic, so I didn't get even a chance to ask him, but I don't think so. I think he tried to sleep last night. I know he was up part of the night, but there's nothing sitting here. He cleaned off my desk nice for me, which was super nice. But there's no new artwork sitting here. All I do have is the ACEO card. So if you didn't get one of these, they are signed and dated, and they are going to be numbered. They're a limited edition. This is the Not Without Love edition. I have it pulled up over here. This is the Not Without Love edition of the ACEO cards. He may do these, every once in a while and drop a new edition, but we're considering it the ACEO series. And then within that series, any month that he does one is going to be a different edition. So that's what that is. If you haven't gotten one, they're really cool. I think they're really cute. They're well priced. They're only $22. That's a lot of work. He did a lot of work in these. He hand does all this work and lots of work going into these. But they're only $22. So if you want to help us out and grab some of his artwork, if you've not been able to afford some of his artwork before, you might want to grab one of these. And they are kind of artist trading card size. They come from the artist trading card idea, but they're called ACEOs. That's called, I have to read, Art Cards Editions and Originals. Art Cards Editions and Originals. So this is an edition, and yeah, if you want to grab one, they're on the website. There's not a ton of them, and there's only one listing because while they are all slightly different, like with the dots and the patterns and the colors in the hand mostly, they are similar. So it's a little bit, kind of what you're getting, but you don't know which exact one you're getting. And if you have ordered those, I think Andrew talked about it. We were waiting for we bought some hard-sided or hard cases for these to go in that they'll fit in, so that they're easier for you to collect and store, even in case you don't want to frame them or anything like that. Keep them like little baseball cards or something. So we were waiting for that to come in. We got that. So these should start shipping out very soon for all of you. Norma says it's 90 here. It is 90 here. Yeah, it's 72 is what my watch says right now. And I don't believe it, not for 1 second. But anyway, we're glad you could be here a little bit, Norma. And Marianne just said that, glad you could be here. Let's see here. Amanda says, we've had gorgeous weather these past few days. Comfortable temps, sun, and breeze. That must be nice. We've had humid weather. very humid and very hot. I think we went up to almost 90 in temperature yesterday. And then with the humidity, it probably was in the 90s for the real feel that they call it. But yeah, if it were truly 72 outside, I would be loving it, but it does not feel like 72, and it's rainy. Amanda says, your watch party sounds fun, Norma. Thanks for stopping by before you go. What else is going on? What else is going on? Oh, Marianne. I was like, she's like, better look at your pits, please. I'm like, am I showing something under here? And then it was pots. Yeah, I have my pots. I will show you those, I guess. Take a better look at those. I didn't post about that. That's another thing I was going to post on my William Tries Things page, but that's going to be maybe tonight or tomorrow. I didn't get a chance to write that post today. Sometimes things happen, right? Norma says, it's fun having pizza and ice cream this week while we watch. That's nice. I think I'm going to make a pizza tonight, too. Well, hello, Barnaby. There's that Barnaby tail. Barnaby is amped up right now. He is amped up, aren't you, buddy? He is trying to get me to take him outside. And it's raining, and I have not had much time, obviously, in between, especially with the power outage. But he's being a good boy. He's my buddy. He's gonna probably sit with me. He's got to do the circling in my lap enough times until he gets settled in. See, Cinnamon says hello, Barnaby, and sends love to you. You're gonna send love back to Cinnamon. Send love back to Cinnamon. You're gonna look at the camera. He says, I don't look at the camera. Huh? That's my buddy. You're such a big boy now. Thought you were a small boy, but now that we have kittens, he's a big boy. He feels like a big boy. So Suzanne says it's a male samurai and tattoos are addictive. That's what I've heard. I've heard they are. Fran says, oh, he is beautiful. See, people think you're beautiful, Barnaby. Yeah, I'm getting all this attention, huh? Possible tornadoes coming in. Coming in from Michigan across Lake Huron to southwest Ontario. That's no good. Marion says, Seif just meowed for some reason. See? Got that cat energy going. Cat energy. I got to check on the babies. I've been running around so much I didn't even get to check on the kittens here before we started the live. So I'm probably not going to be here too long today. We're going to chat, hang out, show you some of my new pots maybe. Diane says, I don't know why, but I keep giggling about the get a better look at your pits comment, right? I know. I'm like, can you see something I can't? I know we talked about taking clothes off, but I'm not actually doing that, everybody. Hello, Susan. Thanks for tuning in, our neighbor here. Where are you going, Barn? He wants attention. I'm not giving him enough attention. Marianne's laughing at herself, right? So do I. Sorry, everybody. Barnaby is making me give him attention. You can see a tail. Is that not enough room for you? He doesn't like it when I have my legs crossed. It's not enough room on the lap. But then I get uncomfortable if I don't when I'm sitting for a long time. So what have I been doing? What have you been doing? What's going on? I don't know. This week, that's one thing I wanted to ask all of you out there. Francis, cats are awesome. They are. They are. Especially my cats. They're awesome. Our cat. Lorraine says, I love the tail. I know he has a very expressive tail, Barnaby. Gilbert too. Gilbert's over in the other window looking out. Donna says, is the road past the cottage open? I have no idea. You mean the bridge from before? Unless something happened today, the bridge is now open. Yes, past the cottage. It's been open for about 2 or 3 weeks at least now. But if something happened today that I don't know about, I don't know. If you're asking about something today. I've not been up there today. So I just came back from the store to the house, got the routers and everything reset from the power outage we had here. And here I am. So I've been researching a lot, and I wanted to ask anybody out there, do any of you have any experience or useful advice for things like sublimation printing? I've been looking at things lately. I do this all the time. It's like I don't have enough things to do. But I was looking at trying to figure out ways to use my Cricut more. And I started to look at their infusible inks and sublimation printing, and that took me down a very large or deep rabbit hole in the sublimation printing world. So I don't know if any of you all did that. Like, I know we did these Who's Ready shirts, or we did the Who's Ready, not the shirts, the mugs on Andrew's Society 6. But I'm thinking that I could make them, because we don't get a lot. There's a big chunk of money that comes out of our Society 6 sales. And I'm thinking that I could get the raw materials for less, do the printing ourselves for a lot of that. Now, we can't do like curtains and all the big stuff they do, but for like mugs and some totes, like their totes are completely covered, and I don't think I want to do that kind of craziness. But I was thinking I had if any of you know our wooden pendants at Allegory Gallery, like there's one that has a baby dragon hatching out of an egg, and I thought that would be such a nice, cool mug or a tote bag. And so I've been looking into all of this, and it's not a ton of money to get into it. Really, not in the small bit of it that I would be doing. Like, we're not talking commercial stuff here. We're talking if a few people, I'll have a few in the store and maybe sell them here and there. But one, does anybody out there have any history doing this or working with this? And two, if I were to make mugs with like baby dragons or some of Andrew's artwork, and they would be priced like probably $15 to $18 for like an 11 ounce, a smaller mug, coffee cup type thing. Would you all be interested in it? If we did an Allegory Gallery logo or a Ligonier, like a bandstand logo, or some of Andrew's artwork, like the baby dragon, or maybe some of his birds, or a crow, or something like that, would you be interested? Because I've been thinking about that. I've been doing a lot of research about it. I'm like this close to pulling the trigger on it for the things that I feel like I would use the most. But I also don't want to spend the money if I'm not going to be making any return on it. So I don't know. There's not a lot of places in our town, surprisingly, to get merchandise like that's branded with Ligonier. Which surprises me, but we get all the time, whether there are places asking us, like, because we sell tote bags and we have some cups and things, some glassware. They're like, do you have anything with the diamond on it, which is our center of town, or the bandstand or gazebo that we have in town? And not a lot of places do. So I was thinking that if I could start this sublimation stuff, I might be able to do some of that. So that's what I'm wondering. Would all of you be interested? I could also do t-shirts. I learned that you can sublimate on polyester, I believe it is, poly t-shirts. You can't do it on cotton, it doesn't stay. They make sprays and stuff that make it better, but after a few washes, it starts to wash off. And I got into all this because, as many of you know, we don't do our t-shirts anymore, these Allegory Gallery ones. And these are iron-ons. They're a vinyl, an iron-on type vinyl. And we had those made by somebody, but I could make these now. So I started looking into this, and I'm like, but if I could just sublimate everything with a heat press, and then of course that got me into more tools and more things. So I'm going to catch up in the comments here a little bit. Diane says, my dogs are looking at me like, why are you laughing, weirdo? Right? I know, isn't that funny? Suzanne says, my friend Amy Michelle Lambert does sublimation printing. Interesting. Marion says, not sure what sublimation printing is. I don't think I quite answered that. Norma's off. See you, Norma. Thank you for joining us. Marion says, I would love a baby dragon mug. Susan says, I would be interested. Norma says, yes, interested. I would, sounds like fun, good advertising. I think so too. Suzanne says, yes, depending on the design, but definitely positive. The nice thing about if I did it myself, we could do like one-offs. So like if somebody wanted one of our wooden pendant designs on a mug, as long as we still have the file in a big enough format that I could print it nicely, we could do one-offs on some of this stuff and it wouldn't be too hard. So that's why I'm thinking about it. Like I wouldn't have to order massive quantity. Like right now, if we were going to supply these shirts done with screen printing or something like that, we'd have to order all the sizes we need. We'd have to order quantities of them. We'd have to spend a lot of money to bring them in. And instead of spending that kind of money on that, I'm thinking if I spend the money on the equipment and we do it ourselves, then we can do whatever size we need, whatever design we want at any time. And we don't have, now we couldn't do them in large batches. I mean, we technically could, but these would be more like a few here and there and things like that. So I think I'm getting close. I also think that it would help us because there are ways that we might be able to incorporate the laser with the sublimation printing. And there are special things that I think we can get for the laser that we could make like earrings in different shapes with maybe some of Andrew's backgrounds or some interesting designs that we create that way. And I think that could work. And because we've been thinking about, a lot of you know that we were in the Handmade Arcade in Pittsburgh last year, and we've applied for this year. But what we found out is at some of these shows that we sell at, it would be nice, because if we're selling our own jewelry, which is what this kind of is, it would be nice to have lower cost price point things. And when we're doing the enameling, and there's so much time and there's so much skill involved in those that it's hard for us to do any type of, you know, low cost ones. So if we can sublimate and print designs on it like that, and then cut them out on the laser and then have them ready, it could be really good for us, I think. So yeah, Francis, I love mugs. I would definitely buy some from you. Thank you. We appreciate that. Oh, sorry, my comments jumped. Diane says, I don't need any more mugs. I just cleaned out the mug cabinet a few months ago, but I would absolutely buy them for basket raffle baskets. Nice. That'd be good. I want an AG t-shirt so badly, says Amanda. I can probably make you one of these kind. I have the stuff to do that. And I can do that with an iron. So if you don't know what sublimation is, like Marianne was saying, sublimation printing is a special type of ink. And what happens is you apply that ink at a high temperature. So you print it out, you affix it to whatever it is. And the surface, if it's like a mug or glassware, it has to be specially coated to accept the sublimation ink. I guess it doesn't have to be, but you get the best results if it is. And they make some sprays and stuff that I've been researching to turn everything into sublimation possible printing, but not great reviews on a lot of that. That's why I'm asking if anyone has any interest or any experience with it. But what it does is you fire things for, like the mugs, you put them in an oven, or you have a mug heat press. And one of the things I'm looking at are the presses and the heat presses and things. And so we could do baseball caps, we could do mugs, we could do t-shirts, we could do canvas totes. Not canvas, that's the other thing. So sublimation printing takes the ink and I guess vaporizes it, or turns it into a vapor. And what it does is it bonds with polyester, or the non-natural fibers, and it bonds with them permanently. So you have to have at least 75 or 85% polyester, or 100% polyester for the best thing. So we couldn't do it on cotton shirts. The cotton shirts would still have to be kind of like this, which would be the iron-on type things, the vinyl. But it's a way of printing that it permanently bonds the ink to the materials. And so you can do this with a lot of different things. A mug you put in the oven at like think it's 350 or 375 for 5 to 7 minutes, and it bonds the ink. It's a permanent image on the mug. So if you've ever bought a mug that has a design on it that can go through the dishwasher, no problem, doesn't fade, that's sublimation printing. So we could buy the blanks of the mugs. We can buy the ink for the sublimation printing. I'd have to buy the printer, lots of different things, but we could then produce our own anything, one-offs. We could do, you know, multiples. We could do batch processing of them. Each one would have to be done by hand, of course, but we could do anything at that point. You can take photographs and print them and put them on glass or put them on metal. There's all different kinds of things you can do. Cheryl says, I love his dragon design. I'd love something like that with a t-shirt with your logo. Lorraine says, me too. Suzanne says, Cat King. Yeah, the King Kitty. King Kitty, that would be a good one too. We could do King Kitty on a shirt or on a mug. Donna says, could you do stationery? It's not meant for stationary printing because you can just print any type of ink on stationery. But sorry, I think I heard the kittens in their room getting wild. So let me go. I'm going to go check on the kittens because I just heard some wild noises in there. Barnaby even looked. I'll be right back just to make sure they're okay. What are y'all doing? Noises. All right, everyone's okay. And the other thing we did today, Francis, zoomy time for the kitties, right? It is. Hello, June. Thanks for tuning in. Marianne says also a hashtag AG Bead fan mug. We could do that. We could easily do that. So that's the kind of thing. We're like looking at all this stuff. It's not terribly expensive to get into, and I can do it in different levels. And I don't know. You know, it's like order one batch of t-shirts or maybe 2 batches of t-shirts or buy the stuff to be able to do it ourselves. So that's what I'm thinking. I don't know if y'all would like that. But what I was saying with stationery is printed generally kind of, you know, just you can print anything just on paper and do stationery. So yeah, it wouldn't be for that, but it would be for other materials like mugs. We could do technically I could do tumblers, like hot cold type tumblers, and print on those. So that's why I was wondering if anyone had experience with sublimation printing, because I had some questions, especially if anybody has used some of the sprays and things that they use to prepare surfaces, because not all surfaces can take the sublimation printing. And so I was wondering, so if anybody out there who's watching this or rewatching this has any information on that, I would be happy to listen. Especially if you used any of the type of sprays that prepare various non-sublimational, I don't know if that's the word, surfaces that turn them into sublimation surfaces. Facebook user says, ooh, I would so get an AG Bead fan mug. I don't know who you are, but thank you. If you're showing up like this to me, that means you just need to go to streamyard.com/Facebook, and you can re-authenticate yourself through there for me to be able to see your picture and your name. That'd be great. But yeah, so maybe we'll do an AG Bead fan mug. I don't know. I always, you know, this is something that I could see us doing a lot of things with. But I also get in these moods where I'm one of those people, like, I want a new hobby, so I buy everything for the hobby. And then like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. So I'm trying to see what kinds of things we could do before I like go and pull the trigger and then buy a bunch of stuff that I'll not use. But do you hear those kittens? I can hear those kittens. I don't know if you can hear them or not. Somebody's crying very hard. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. but I'm thinking about it. So that's what I've been mostly researching and looking at lately. Sublimation printing and vinyl decal making and attaching. And I could do both. And the reason I started all this is because I was looking for a heat press, like a t-shirt and canvas tote or tote press, so that I don't have to use the iron, because a lot of times the iron, you don't get even heating, obviously, because you're moving it around, and it doesn't quite affix it. So I was looking at that, and then I'm like, well, I could just use an iron, because that's what these were made with, I believe. And so I started looking, and then sublimation printing needs temperatures of upwards of 400 degrees. So like the 350 to 400 degrees. So you need an oven, or you need a heat press that can go up to that. And so the iron won't do that, or else I could just get an iron and play around. But anyway, that's what I was thinking, because I know a lot of you did want our shirts, and we took them off the website because we couldn't keep having them done. But if I can do them myself, then maybe we'll put them back on there. It might be in fewer colors than we had before, but everything just got so much more expensive after COVID. Once things shut down and kind of came back, it's a lot more expensive for us to buy in individual color shirts. So that's why the person who was doing them for us is actually Amy, who I take the pottery classes from now. And she said she could keep doing them, but we would need much bigger orders for it to make sense for her. But for us, because of course she's trying to make a little money off of them too, and I don't think she was getting very much. So for us, if we brought them in, that would be, not to take that work away from her, but I don't think she wants to do that anyway. She's into the pottery and all that now. So yeah, that's what I was thinking. So we'll see. I don't know. But I've seen a lot of things, and I've been researching a lot of things, and it looks like it could be something we could really use. So we'll see. You might start seeing stuff come out of here. If you see new mugs, you know I went and pulled the trigger and got everything. I was talking with Andrew a little bit, and he's, right now, because things are so slow, we're hesitant to spend a lot of money on anything. But he's like, sublimation, something he's been thinking about too, I think. So we'll see. We'll see. I don't have to get everything at once either, which I tend to like to do, because then you can just have the setup and be ready. But we do things as we can, and we've been definitely doing things as we can lately, because it's been crazy slow. But I'm like, can I offset some of that by making some mugs that people might want? In t-shirts or totes. I have some totes in the cart. I have some mugs in the cart. I have a heat press in the cart. I have a printer in the cart. So we'll see. We'll see. So that's been what that's been what I've been up to. That's been what I've been up to. Or that's what I've been up to. And just kind of working at it. Suzanne says sublimation prints need lighter colors. Yeah, I don't know. I've seen some really good prints of like photos that have all different colors in them. So I don't know. I'll have to look more into that. But like, I don't know. Because I can do the vinyl on the mugs too, but then you can't run them through the dishwasher. And if you're like me, I used to be a hand wash only person because I grew up without a dishwasher. And I was like, who needs a dishwasher? We'll just hand wash. And then I got a dishwasher, and I said, all right, nothing ever is going to be hand washed again unless it absolutely needs to be. Marianne says, what? You don't need everything all at once? So that's what I've been doing wrong. I know, right? Yeah. I kind of like everything at once, because then you can just do whatever. Like I have a Cricut, and I got the starter pack that came with it. And I'm like, what do I do with it? Like every time I go to decide to make something with it, I need to go buy something else, right? Like I was thinking about making cards, but then you need to go buy the cardstock. You need to go buy this. And I had to buy some markers, and and I'm like, just get it all. Just get it all at once. I don't know where I'm going to put all of this. That's the other thing. I'm kind of out of space in my room a little bit. I'm going to have to add a third desk in here or something, but because the heat press is pretty big. And and it swings so that you don't get burned. It swings out of the way so you can use the platen without getting burned. So that's another thing. I don't know. I'm kind of really excited for it, which is, it's hard for me to say no, but I get really excited about things and then I get them and then it's like, okay, you got it. It's yours now. Now you can stop being excited. And that's that's oftentimes how my hobbies go. The interest is in the thinking about doing it. The actual doing it is I lose interest in. I don't know if any of you are like that. I'm definitely like that. It's like buying books. I buy them, I put them on the shelf, and they're there. But the reading of the book doesn't always happen as quickly as the acquiring it. But I think this would be fun. I don't know. I think it'd be fun to make mugs and make stuff, and I think I could do a lot of stuff, especially if I do the printing. Cricut sells, I was talking about, it sells those sublimation, they call it infusible ink transfer sheets. And you can cut designs out of them. So I could do like basic designs and outlines and text and stuff. And I wouldn't need the printer necessarily, but that is all would be very basic stuff. Like I couldn't print an image and do it. So I don't know. Kind of want it all. We'll see. Amanda says, I haven't seen the kittens in a while. I bet they're getting big. They are. They are getting big. They're very cute too. But yeah, they hear me, I think. The girls hear you, says Susan. I know. Marion says, they are saying, Daddy, I want to join the fun. I know. They really do. Because Andrew hasn't been home all day. Normally he's home with them and he goes in and out and plays with them and talks to them. And they've been alone since he left today. And I didn't give them their food yet. They're probably hungry too right now. I did give them extra food this morning. They're starting to eat more and more and more. Because every time I go in, they're like starving. So I've had to add more cans every time I feed them too. Marion says, not a desk, a storage unit. I know. We've already filled our garage, so I don't know. I could put stuff at the cottage, but then I have to go to the cottage every time I want to do something, and that's good, which would get me out of the house, but it's not always for our life. It doesn't always work out. So if I had it here in my room, I could do stuff anytime. And I don't know. Anyway, that's what I've been up to. That's why I'm talking about it so much, because that is about all I've gotten up to all week. Not really. It's been crazy. I've just got to some emails today. It has been a week that I've barely been able to check my emails. So I apologize if you're still waiting for an answer back on anything. A lot of people were asking about Milagros. I have been searching for specific ones, but I've not found a lot that people wanted specifically. But I'm going to keep looking. I think tomorrow's the day that I'm going to sit down and really go through my emails, as long as it's not crazy busy in the shop, and get a chance to do that. Just with this week of getting Andrew ready to go and getting the car ready and getting the tires and getting everything aligned and set up and done. I also went to the, I don't think I said this. I meant to say it. Went to the vet today and dropped off some samples. Because Tallulah, before she came to us, had worms, and she had medication for that, but they wanted to check to make sure that that it was cleared up completely. And so I had to take a sample in, and they said, just take it from anybody. Thank goodness I didn't have to watch who was dropping their sample. They said, take any, because they should all be the same, because they're in the same room. They eat the same food off the same plate. They go in the same, litter boxes. So like if one has it, they probably all have it at this point. So that came back today. I found out that they are negative. There's nothing in the sample, so it's all good. And that's a good thing, because I was like, if I have to go down and get medication for them, and I have to give them medication while Andrew is gone, that's going to be a hard thing for one person to do. So thankfully, don't have to worry about that. So that was today too, along with everything else. It's been a wild week. So if you've been waiting for an email from me, I apologize. I am going to get to them. I just have to have a moment. Diane says, I have 2 bookcases of books I haven't read. I have many. I think at some point we're just going to start selling our books because I don't know if I'm ever going to get to them. And Andrew doesn't read actual books. So I'm trying to convert over to audiobooks too. I actually got myself an Audible subscription too. Not as robust as Andrew's because he listens to more than I do, but I did get one, and I'm starting to use it for my commutes, especially to my other job and whatnot. So it's been good. I've liked it. But most of my work is like computer work and writing and figuring stuff. So it's hard for me to listen and do that at the same time. So kind of has to be when I drive or when I'm just chilling out, which doesn't always happen. But anyway. Susan says, your craft story and mine are the same. I have stacks of fabric for sewing, containers of basket weaving supplies, bins and bins of yarn for crocheting and knitting, and now beads. See? But do you use it? Do you use some of it at least? Because sometimes I buy things and then I'm like, I got it. I now can do it. And then I don't do it. It happens to me a lot. But I'm trying to get better. It's like the pottery wheel. I really wanted it and I got a pottery wheel, and I am actually doing pottery, but I have not set up my pottery wheel yet. But that also takes, we're probably going to put it in the basement at this point. And that takes reorganizing the basement, which is not a job I am yearning to do. So that's also, there's some of that sometimes that comes into being. Marion says, yay for a negative, right? I know. Thank you. Harry says, I painted the cat angel and mom rabbit and a bull today. I posted 3 new eyeball necklaces in my Etsy shop. I didn't see the eyeball necklaces. I'll have to check those out. That's awesome. Marion says, I have some books I haven't read, but not many. There's Gilbert. Hi, buddy. How are you today? My handsome big boy. How are you today? So, let's see. Susan says, I use it eventually. I just see something shiny and have to have everything. I know. It's the way I am too. Gilbert's looking at the phone here like, what are you doing talking to that? He's like, who's there? Who's there? I'm going to smell the phone. He's like, who are you talking to? Sweet boy. Yeah, I think I would use it eventually, even if I don't use it. Ooh. Gilbert's kissing the pole that our phone is on. I think I would use this, though, a good bit because I think it could be useful, really useful. And even in Andrew's metalwork, maybe, if the spray works that we could use. I watched some YouTube videos on them using some of this spray, and it came out really well. So I'm trying to figure it all out. Fran says, I have a craft room that is full of jewelry making supplies, crocheting supplies, diamond art supplies, bins and bins of stuff, right? I know, we all do this, I think. And I'm not alone in this, I know, because Andrew buys tools and he doesn't always get to using them right away. It's not like you buy a tool because you need to use it right now, right? Sometimes you're going to need them at some point. And so at some point, you'll use them if you buy them, but you can't use them if you never buy them, right? They're no good to you if you never buy them at all. So you got to buy them, right? I think so. Come on, Gilbert, you want to come up? He kind of wants to sit on my lap, but he kind of just doesn't. He's not sure. I think he just wants some attention, huh? Been alone today, haven't you? Been alone today, buddy. Francis, my husband calls me a craft hoarder. There's nothing wrong with that, right? Crafts don't go bad. It could be worse, right? It could be a lot worse. I know people who have, and no offense if this is you, it's just not me, but I know people who have a lot of dead animals in their freezers because they've decided to try taxidermy, or they believe at some point in their life, oh, Gilbert, what are you doing? What are you eating? At some point in their life, they're going to do taxidermy, or they took a class in taxidermy and they're like, now I can take all these animals that I hunt and I can do stuff with them. So yeah, having craft supplies compared to a bunch of animals in a freezer, for me, that's better. But I do have family, well, kind of family through marriage, who are taxidermists, and they talk about their freezers full of stuff that it's kind of like the carpenter's house, right? They do work for other people to make a living, but their own work doesn't get done very often. So yeah, there's a lot of that, right? Susan says, now I've signed up for a felting class. I've always wanted to try it. We're going to be doing a felting class here at Allegory Gallery. I'm waiting for our new helper, Annie, to get me more information, but we're going to be doing an online and in-person felting class. So that's pretty cool, right? I think so. I think so. Suzanne says, I've decluttered tremendously and holding a hard line to buying more. That's good, I guess. I don't know. Buying is a comfort for me sometimes, and I like to know I have the things. I'm not a minimalist. I'm definitely not a minimalist. I follow this account on Instagram, which I think is not a minimalist. I'm pretty sure, and it's this guy whose house looks amazing, like amazing, but it is chock full. I'm like, I don't know how you keep that clean, how you keep that dusted, because he has like shelves and they're all full of like vessels of different colors, and he does them in color blocks sometimes. And I'm like, how do you keep that dusted? So yeah, it would be hard for me to declutter and then not bring in any more, but it's good that you're doing it. It's good that you're sticking to your guns, right? Marion says, I haven't used a lot of my dyes yet. Right? Not a lot yet. Marion says, a collector, not a hoarder. Exactly. You're a collector. You know what you have. You have the possibility of using it. And it's all good stuff that you could sell off, right? I think the difference between hoarding sometimes is that people hoard things that nobody's going to sell, right? Like old newspapers or old bags of garbage sometimes, like people with serious hoarding issues. That's a different thing. Collecting, you're collecting. You know what you're buying. You know what you're doing. You're doing it with a purpose, right? I like to think so. Suzanne says, a girl at work put her dead animals in the community freezer. Did not go over well at all. I bet it did not. I bet it did not. Yeah. Susie says, I can never collect enough beads or paint, right? Yeah. And it's like, I don't do a lot of crafts, right? I admire people who do, because I'm a paper and pen person. I love stationery. I love pens, and that should translate to loving crafting. And I've just never, my family wasn't crafty. I think if I had grown up with a more crafty family, I would be big into it. So here now, later in life, I'm trying to get into it, and I don't quite know where to start. So I'm buying the things and then not sure what to do with the things. And I'm trying to also justify that I can take time to learn the things, which is hard for me. That's hard for me. Andrew finally pushed me into pottery classes because I liked it. And he's like, yeah, you should do it, learn more, which has been good. So I'm trying to expand on that now that I've started into things. And I want to get into more paper crafts and things like that, but I don't always know where to start. And so I'm buying the things, and then hopefully one of those things makes me plunge into just doing it. So that's what I'm doing. Oh, you want to let me show you my pottery. Speaking of that. So these are the latest ones that I've done. Let me flip the camera around here a little bit. Let's see. Switch the camera. I think that camera will work. Who's ready, right? There we go. Let me move this out of the way. This is what I was practicing with, like, how would I do this if I were going to do this vinyl? This is the vinyl, and it's a permanent vinyl, so this could be good for, it could be good for mugs and stuff, but I was playing around with this to see. All right, so some of the pottery, this is the latest. I shouldn't say latest. This is the stuff that has been glazed. This is some of the earlier work, though. It doesn't have, like, I feel like even now I'm starting to see, for me, how much I'm progressing, which is actually really nice to be able to see. But this is a little thing that I made. And Andrew, I think, has claimed this. It actually has a little bit of, it's not really a chip. It's just where the clay wasn't. The clay got a little indent right here on that edge. But that's that. This is two different colors of, or two different, now I have dye in my head because I've been talking about sublimation. Glazes, that's the word, glazes. So this one glaze, which is this kind of brown dotted, and I can't remember the names of them off the top of my head, and then it's the other one inside. And this one has this one up to this. Actually, the brown dots are all the way, and then the other one is put on top. And we were told, including our instructor, was told that this top one here runs a lot. So the idea was to put this on halfway and see if it ran down or dripped down. And she also did not want to, because your glazes can stick to your kiln furniture and then it becomes a mess and very hard to get off. So we didn't want that to happen. So we did it halfway, and it like ran right here. That's about it. Because I kind of wanted that all over, but I still like it. I think it's good. It's a very, this is like, I can tell that this is one of my earlier pieces because I'm getting better at getting this shape and not having it so heavy bottomed and kind of thick in here. And then I did this one too. This one, I heavily glazed inside here because this actually cracked, but the glaze completely filled the crack. So it is now food or waterproof. And that was just me playing around with shapes a little bit. So that is, Francis, that's way cool. Thanks. Marianne says, such pretty colors. I think so too. I loved these two glazes together in the photos that we looked at. And I kind of wish I would have done this one even a little bit lower. So at least there would have been more of that. But the good thing is I like this anyway. So I think it looks nice. It just kind of looks a little bit unfinished to me because of how this ends, but it's probably because I know. And if anyone else saw this, they just think that was purposeful, and it kind of was, but for a different reason. It's supposed to do a little bit more than that. So that's what I've been working on. That's my latest glazed items. I'm going to do a post on William Tries Things. If you don't follow me on William Tries Things, I hope you will. You can find me pretty much everywhere. I'm on Instagram, also on Facebook, under the William Tries Things. If you search that, you should see it pop up. And follow me there. I'm going to post about, I have some photos of some items that are bisque fired, that are ready to be glazed. Maybe next week I'll glaze them. And I also did my very first vessel that is a lidded vessel. It has a lid to it, and I had to create the vessel in the lid. So it's the first time I started working on that. So I did that this week as well. And I trimmed, if you have been following me, I made a series of like 6 different vessels that I tried to make similar. Like, I'm not going to ever be a production potter as far as making the same thing over and over and over. I don't think I ever want to do that, but I tried to get them similar. So I did that series. And so what I did today is I trimmed all of that, which means kind of trimming this out. Instead of being flat across the bottom, you give it a little bit of a, a little bit of a trim. And that is supposed to, I should have trimmed this one a lot more, deeper, and cut off some of this too, because this is a very heavy, this bottom is like very thick. And you trim that up to thin out the bottom, but also if you have a hot beverage or something in a mug and this is trimmed up, that means that this part, only this part touches the surface, this part doesn't. And so if you had that whole surface flat, your beverage, if it was a hot beverage, for example, would get cold faster because there'd be more surface area touching your desk or the counter or the table, which would absorb the heat. So by doing this, supposedly, with this not touching and only this touching, less heat is absorbed by whatever surface you're putting on, and it leaves it colder or hotter longer. That's what I was told anyway. So those are my things. That's what I did. That's what I was working on this week. Well, this was actually 3 weeks ago now, because I skipped 2 weeks with the holiday and my teacher being off. So this was like 3 weeks ago I did this. So more on the way, more on the way. I'm having fun doing it though. I'm having fun doing it. Let me flip this camera back around. Now that I've shown you that. Oh, there's Gina. Hey, Gina. Gina says, great job, you're a natural. I don't know about that, but thank you. That means a lot coming from you. If you don't know Gina, Gina's our friend in Pittsburgh, and she makes amazing pottery, all different kinds of things. So you can check her out, White Swan Illuminations or White Swan Studios on Facebook, and she has lots of good stuff on Etsy, on her Etsy shop. She's also she was our very first podcast interviewee, so that was great of her to do with us. If you want to learn a little bit more about her, even though it's an old episode, you can learn that. But yeah, Gina, thank you, Gina. I appreciate that. Yeah, we love your work. So that's what I've been up to. If you missed it yesterday, Andrew showed you how to make this kind of armature for creating creatures. So if you missed that, he did that. He also did a project with Amber. Today, if you're following the Allegory Gallery Design Challenge calendar for Summer of Fantasy, it's to use scent in a design. S-C-E-N-T, scent in a design. So how do you incorporate scent into your design work? And how can you do that? There are obviously ways with lava that you could add essential oils to lava. You can, I was thinking of different ways. How could you do that? You could use natural materials, maybe like mint, crushed up mint leaves in your design, or if you set them in something, or there's lots of different things you could do. If you use found objects, Marianne says you can make a potpourri. Yeah, it doesn't have to be jewelry, right? You could make a locket. I once made with QFam Gray. I don't know if you all know QFam Gray, the Urban Beater company. Q used to come over and teach with us here in Ligonier before the pandemic. And she once showed us how to make a sterling silver pendant that had a design cut out, and it had a little ledge in the back, like a little half back. You could tuck a little piece of felt, or it was a felted material, I think, that you could put essential oils in, tuck that in, and then you'd have it in your pendant all day long. So that was a way that you could use scent in your design. So yeah, it doesn't have to be, of course, doesn't have to be jewelry. This, I think, just said use scent in a design. So any design, anything. So I'm excited to see what y'all come up with for that. And yeah, that's been it. Anybody else have anything to talk about today? I know I'm not very exciting today. I'm sorry. But my week has been pretty much focused on trying to get everything together for Andrew to make it over across the state. So I hope you're all doing well out there. I hope things have been going well for everybody. I know it's been rough lately. I did a personal post on my timeline on Facebook the other day because I've been seeing a lot of people having, hard times, like weird, like I know people are having a hard time anyway. The economy's crazy, things are going on, but people have been especially commenting, at least that I've been seeing on my timeline, that it's been really rough and kind of unusual circumstance, hard time things. And so if that's you, send out good energy to you. It's been very, it's been like that, and I felt it. I felt very tired lately, very drained of energy, which is why I've not gotten to all my emails. Sometimes it's a lot. Like, things that don't feel like they should, like in a normal time, it doesn't feel like it would be a lot, but under certain circumstances, things just get heavier, right? And so that's been the email a little bit. So I apologize for that. I will get back to everybody as much as I can. Everything that I saw. It's just taking me a while. So if you are feeling it, I send you out good energy. I hope that you get through it okay. And that's what we're here for, to chat about things. Make friends in the Allegory Gallery Design Challenge group if you haven't already. Feel free to comment on people's posts and get to know each other. It's a really good resource for everything, whether it's, personal stuff, whether it's professional, you want to learn something from somebody or have questions about things. I'm going to actually probably post in the group about sublimation and whether people, anybody in the group has any experience with it, because it is a good resource and I hope that you'll use it for whatever you need it for. Yeah. So that's that. Francis, thank you for sharing with us. Everyone take care. Lots of love to everyone. You too. Thank you so much. So I'm going to go. It's been about an hour. It's longer than I thought I was going to be on here today. But it usually is like that, right? So again, if you're watching this, whether it's now or in the rewatch and you don't want to comment before or whatever, please feel free to comment about if you have any experience with sublimation printing or anything like that, especially if you've been using sublimation sprays to put onto surfaces to print on that aren't normally made for that. I'd love to hear about that too. And yeah, thanks so much for tuning in. It's been fun. I've had a good time chatting with everybody. I feel like it's been scattered and mostly me talking about me, but hopefully it's been interesting to you and we've got some other things too. So thank you for tuning in. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody. Take a break if you can. Take some time for yourself, right? Go pamper yourself a little bit. That might be me talking myself into buying sublimation stuff, but that's a good way to pamper yourself, right? Anyway, thank you so much. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening and weekend, and we will see you back here on Monday. If you need anything before that, send us an email, info@allegorygallery.com. Thanks, everybody. Bye now.